Welcome back, everybody. We're on the inclusion session, and I'm absolutely delighted to have Gordon Hartman here, who, as I'm sure everybody knows, is founder of Morgan's Wonderland. So thanks for joining us, Gordon.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Appreciate it very much.
Wonderful. So, as I'm sure everybody knows, Morgan's was the first ultra accessible and ultra inclusive theme park, which is created for individuals with special needs and their families. So, I think maybe if we start, Gordon, by could you tell us about the new attractions you have in store at Morgan's Wonderland and Inspiration Island for this year?
Well, Morgan's Wonderland opened 15 years ago. We're actually having our 15th anniversary here in 2025 because we opened back in 2010. At that time, we had no idea what type of success we would have, but we were very blessed with millions of people coming from over 123 countries and all 50 states. We added some new attractions to Morgan's Wonderland this year, including a zip line that goes 13 stories that allows for individuals, no matter how acute their special need may be, may ride along with a friend or a colleague on this newly developed ride. We also added a 4D ride that allows for people to experience a roller coaster. Since we are ultra accessible and our technology does not allow yet for a roller coaster to actually allow for someone in a wheelchair to sit within the roller coaster. We went ahead and did a 4D design of a opportunity for people to be able to enjoy it, even though they are in a wheelchair, but not actually in an actual roller coaster itself. We also added a magic bike, which allows for people to again experience something that has been out for many years, but has never allowed for individuals in wheelchairs to be able to enjoy. Along with that, we also did an $8 million facelift to Morgan's Wonderland, knowing that we had been around 14 years and it was time to just kind of bring back the shine of what Morgan's Wonderland offers and did back when we opened back in 2010. Continual maintenance is one thing, but making sure that you keep that certain look all the time is very important to us here at Morgan's Wonderland, and everything that we do that is under the understanding of bringing about more inclusion under the Morgan's name.
Wonderful. It's wonderful to keep that kind of standard up there as well. I think not all our attendees will be aware of the other elements that you've added to the sort of Morgan's universe. So I'm thinking maybe if you could talk a little bit about the sports facilities and the camp as well, and then also the multi-assistance centre and why you've added those bits.
Well, back in 2018, we made a decision that we were going to add 3 new elements to the Morgan's family. The first one being Morgan Sports, which is an opportunity for individuals with and without special needs to play sports, whether it be basketball or football or tennis or pickleball or many other sports. We actually offer up to 14 different sports at Morgan Sports. And it's a beautiful place to see where people come together and have an opportunity to really interact with each other, a true element of inclusion, a true place where everybody can really be a part of something, whether or not they have a disability or not. And then we went on to build Morgan's Camp and open that about 3 years ago. And we see about 5,000 campers a year, not just from the United States, but from all over the world. And we have volunteers from all over the world also help us who are involved in the interaction of individuals who come to Morgan's Camp. Morgan's Camp has the only challenge course that we are aware of that allows for someone who either has intellectual delay or visual issues or is in a wheelchair and can be 22 feet in the ground, above ground, actually enjoying the challenge course. And so it is something that we offer an opportunity that many times is not seen anywhere else at any other camp. Again, Morgan's is known for that, for coming and getting outside the box, for being outside the norm, if you will, to ensure that it is for the entire population, not just 80% of the population or 85% of the population, but for 100% of the population and everybody joining together in inclusion. And I'm speaking to you from the studio here at Morgan's Multi-Assistance Center. What this facility is about is an opportunity for us to be able to navigate medical and therapeutic and other needs of individuals who have special needs. Many times individuals with special needs fall through the cracks, if you will, when it comes to an opportunity to be able to connect a provider with what their needs are and to make sure that all the opportunities to deal with those challenges are taken care of. So when someone comes to the MAC, what we do is we get a full understanding of what their medical and potential therapeutic and other issues such as food insecurities or legal issues or whatever issues they may have facing them. We place them with a navigator who understands these needs and then finds a provider, whether they be in this 165,000 square foot multi-assistance center or outside within the community, to be able to bring them together to make sure that they are actually taking care of some of the issues that they face due to their special need. This is a new concept, but one that right now we are seeing enormous potential with, based on the fact that we use a proprietary software called the Mac Nav, which provides an opportunity for us to monitor every activity. So if someone misses an appointment, the navigator knows and is able to make sure that that appointment is rescheduled. And if that person has challenges on anything, the navigator is fully aware of it. So they're constantly monitoring. Another thing is that the efficiencies of our systems allows for the navigator to handle much larger numbers than has previously been done in any types of programs like this. And that's critical because the number of people who face issues with special needs is growing all the time. And if we continue at using the same ways of doing it and not become more efficient through technology and potentially through AI technology, which we're working on as well within the MacNav, then we will not meet the challenges that are ahead of us in respect to helping as many individuals with special needs. So the three different things I just talked to you about were dreams of ours back in 2018, just some 6 years ago. We've now finished those, and we have many other opportunities that are coming to us very soon because there's more things that we need to do to bring about more inclusion in the world.
I'm always so impressed by what you're doing. I think you really are sort of, this conference is
Oh,
all about innovation, and you're kind of always really at the forefront of things. You know, it's really truly impressive.
thank
I
you.
was going to ask you about one of those things coming up, which is the Morgan's Hotel, which I know
Mhm.
is opening in 2026. So first of all, I want to just understand who you anticipate being the guests for this, and do you have? I think we often forget that there are individuals with special needs, but then there are also their families as well. And I wondered who is going to be coming to this hotel, and have you got any kind of figures to illustrate the size of that market?
Yeah, there's a great need when it comes to bringing about what we refer to as an ultra accommodating hotel. The concept of this is quite simple, actually. You take a normal hotel and you build it to ensure, however, that no matter what the need of someone may be who has a special need, whether it be acute or mild, or no special need at all, can all join together in a hotel. There are small details that make a big difference. And so what we did is we talked to many through different types of town halls and Facebook interactions, et cetera, to find out if we were to build a hotel, what could we best do to ensure that all our friends with special needs and everybody could enjoy the same hotel. And we came up with a hotel that ultimately will be called Morgan's Hotel. And it will be located just about a half a mile from Morgan's Wonderland. But it would be a place where everybody can join together. So if someone has acute special needs, is on a respirator, is on a feeding tube, has special needs of other types, when they get there, we will know what those issues are, what those challenges are for them, and have the necessary items in the room for them that many times, yes, they travel with many of the things that they need, but many of the things that they need are very difficult to travel with, such as something that is as simple as a opportunity to be able to get from their wheelchair into the bed. So things are all being taken care of. So when they walk into that room, the family and the individual with special needs will know that their different challenges are being cared for by us in advance. When they leave, anything that's not necessary in that room will then be taken out and then brought back, depending on who is going to be in the room next. But next door to them in that hotel, maybe someone has no special needs at all. The beauty of this is it's bringing about full inclusion of people being able to enjoy the opportunity of a hospitality of a place that makes sure it's for everybody. This is something that is way overdue, in my opinion, because There are hundreds of millions of people who stay in hotels throughout the year, and many of those have faced challenges that just the small things, little adjustments here and there, the placement of outlets, the location of lighting, and just small details like that can make a real difference. Also, we will use the ultimate in technology to allow for someone, for example, if they never want to go into the lobby, they don't have to, because they will be able to do everything from a technological standpoint from their phone. And the way we have placed elevators within the hotel would allow them to actually be able to go straight from their car right into an elevator, right to their room. Again, being able to eliminate the need of, if they have a lot of different issues or equipment or things like that, and taking that through where other people and quite a few people are gathered can many times be uncomfortable or can also be very difficult to achieve. And so we've tried to think of these things to make the whole experience much, much better. Now, I will tell you, this is a new opportunity for us, just like everything else we've done. And so it's part of a learning process that we're going through. So even though we are breaking ground in January, latter part of this month, actually, on the site itself, and we actually start construction around the middle of the year for opening in 2026. Every day we are discussing new opportunities of things that we need to think through to ensure that we have taken care of as many things as possible. You know, when I go back and think about when we built Morgan's Wonderland, we didn't know what we were going to face. We didn't know if it was even going to work. Well, every time we open a new venture or a new opportunity, of many of that I've already discussed, and also with the ultra accommodating hotel, that's part of our challenge. But the beauty of this is we're not just talking about it, we're actually doing it. And I think that's what the important thing is. And that's the thing that Morgan's is all about. It's not saying this is a problem, I wonder how we could fix it. It's an issue. And we say, how do we treat it? How do we deal with it? And that's what we're doing now with Morgan's Hotel when it comes to the hospitality business.
That's wonderful and really, really interesting, isn't it? I mean, I wondered, are you working with any, or have you had any interest from any big hotel chains? Because there is a very broad market for this, really, isn't there? There's a lot of people who are missing out on traveling because they don't feel comfortable doing it.
Well, it's an interesting question that you bring up, because I want to tell you a little story with that. Back 17 years ago, when we were first developing the concept of Morgan's Wonderland, I could not get people who were building rides at that time to listen to me about altering a ride to ensure that it was for 100% of the population. And people just simply said, well, that's nice, but why do we need to do this? And I would explain to them why we need to make changes to the carousel, why we need to make changes to the off-road adventure ride, why we need to make changes to the train to bring about ultimate inclusion of everybody being able to enjoy it. And ultimately, we paid for a lot of R&D to be able to make that possible back 17 years ago when we were developing Morgan's. Just in November of this year, I was blessed with the fact of being able to give the keynote address at the IAAPA convention, which is a convention where everybody from around the world comes to talk about amusement parks. And the significance of that is 17 years ago, no one wanted to talk about it. And today, everybody wants to talk about it. And so we've made strides in that area. Let me now take that to the hotel. I had the opportunity to meet with 3 different chains, not only just meet with them, but actually meet with the CEOs of the 3 major chains in the hotel business. And they all were very kind and very willing to listen. But I think at this point, they still do not see the opportunity that exists here. And I'm quite confident that as we build this and we show that there's a true market for this, that they will be coming and forward similar to folks who build rides for amusement parks and saying, we want to now learn more. And that's really what we try to do here at Morgan's, is try to develop things that many times people may look at or think about or say that'd be kind of cool or neat or whatever. And we really just go do it. We jump off the ledge, if you will, we land on our feet. And when we do that, we open the opportunity, I believe, for others to be able to say, it's time for us to do that as well. So I'm quite confident that once we build Morgan's Hotel and we manage it under the Morgan's quality and the approach that we do with everything that we do, that it will then open the doors for these other large opportunities to be able to expand this on a worldwide basis. But it's going to start with that first hotel. and the first approach. And it will not be perfect. There will be many things we'll learn along the way. We'll open the hotel and say we have to make changes. All that is okay. You know, I often tell people if it was easy, everybody would do it. And so we're just very appreciative that people come forward and say, yes, we'll join in what you guys want to do to be able to make this world a more inclusive place.
Wonderful. I do think it's groundbreaking and kind of, I agree. I think it's going to be interesting watching as more people want to do what you're doing, I think, which leads me on to the next bit, which is Morgan's Institute, which I saw that you announced at IAPA. And can you tell me more about that, please?
Well, the Institute is coming about because of all the things I just told you about. What has been most interesting and something that's been very fulfilling is that people contact us from all over the world wanting to know what we're doing. And they want to come and see what we're doing, whether it be Morgan's Wonderland, Morgan Inspiration Island, whether it be the camp or the sports facility, or what's the idea that we're doing with the hotel, the multi-assistance center, along with the other ventures that we're looking to do as well. But what we have decided is basically we have a showroom. We have one, and it's getting bigger all the time with all the additional things that we're doing. And so the idea of the Institute will be able to show people ways in which they can develop things within their community to bring about more inclusion. But also it will work with governments, and it will work with large organizations and businesses to be able to show how buildings can be built better. Because ADA does a lot to do, bring about more inclusion, but it only goes to a certain point. And that's why we call what we do ultra accessibility. And so through the Institute, it will give us an opportunity to be able to explain to an array of folks, not just in this community where we are in the state of Texas, but around the country and the world, about how we can bring more inclusion, but not just talk about it, but show how we've done it and show how we can work with you to be able to achieve it in your community. We think this is really an important, the time that is now to do this, because we find enormous amount of interest and the desire of people wanting to bring about a more inclusive world. There's been a lot of discussion about a more inclusive world simply because of the fact that our friends with special needs and disabilities are not at the table. There's been many good movements that are at the table that have been brought focus to many different needs that exist out there. Unfortunately, the special needs community is not sitting at that table. Our hope is with the Institute and all the different things that we have done and will be doing, and being able to educate the overall world, if you will, about these things, that we can bring about an opportunity to bring the special needs community to the table. That will open up other doors, not just with us working from a private perspective, but also from a public perspective, because it will bring in, individuals who are in governments to understand that they need to start looking at this in a bigger and broader way than just the simple ADA structure that is currently in place. And so there's a lot to be done, but we're ready for the challenge. We've been doing this now some 15 years since we opened Morgan's Wonderland, and I can't imagine the opportunities and the beautiful things that we're going to be able the next 15 years, because we really feel we have a focus on what is necessary to bring about a more inclusive world.
Absolutely. It really gives you the opportunity to impact more widely, I think.
Right.
I think it's a really interesting idea.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. So this conference that we're doing is all about innovation. So as an innovator, I wonder if you could share with us maybe some lessons you've learned, and have there been what's gone really well, what's gone really badly, any surprises that you've had since 2010?
Well, there's been a constant surprise. I always joke with people that if everything worked perfectly, I wouldn't have anything to do. And it doesn't. It doesn't. Things come up all the time that need additional review. When we were building Morgan's Wonderland, for example, I went and met with the folks at Disney, and they were very helpful. But they said to me, many times we build and then we think it's going to work and it doesn't work. And we have to knock down things and rebuild things. Even with all the study and the work that they do, things never work exactly like you think they're going to. And that's okay, because we took that challenge when we built Morgan's Wonderland. Luckily, with a lot of work that we did, we had to make very few changes to Morgan's Wonderland when we first opened it. And over the years, we've had to make a few changes here and there, were things that maybe we didn't think, for example, we didn't offer as much food opportunities that we thought we would need to. We limited our food based on things that we thought early on that we just did not understand correctly. And as I mentioned earlier, that's the same thing we're going to do with many of the things that we're going to do as we innovate and continue to expand what we're doing at the sports facility, what we're doing in the water park, a water park that accepts individuals with that are in wheelchairs, that can the only place in the world that has pneumatic wheelchairs that actually can go underwater. And we had to develop these different things to ensure true independence. But also, even as we've developed these things, every time they bring about new challenges, and they're not things where I can call up someone or look in a book and go, oh, that's how they fixed it, because it's never been done before. And that's the beautiful thing about innovation, is it makes you get outside the box to say, okay, we have an issue, it's not working, or we haven't fixed it exactly like we were going to, but if we continue to work at it, we will find a solution. I sit here before you to tell you that we have run into not just 5 or 10, but literally hundreds of issues over the past 15 years since we've opened Morgan's Wonderland. And that's the beauty of what we do. And that's the beauty of innovation. That's the beauty of bringing about innovation to bring about a more inclusive world. If we continue just to look at it and not become more innovative and a desire to really truly make a change, then things will stay the way they are. And millions, over 1 billion people worldwide, 1.2 billion people who have some form of special need, will not be given the opportunities that they deserve. And that's what we're all about, is changing that, taking this current moment that we have, because we've learned so much, and truly turned into a movement of bringing focus to bring about more inclusion.
Amazing. At 1.2 billion people, that's incredible, isn't it? And I think with this as well, I mean, even if you weren't approaching it altruistically, you could say that's a huge market with their
Yes.
families as well, isn't it? I think it's interesting. I think interesting times, I think.
Well, I think you bring up something that's kind of interesting there in that respect. Even though the special needs population represents somewhere, and you could deal with different percentages, but about 19.2% of women worldwide live with some form of disability. About 12% of men. So we're somewhere in the range of somewhere between 15 and 20% of individuals who have special needs in the world. When you look at that, that is one of the largest minorities in the world. And yet there's not a true focus of the magnitude that needs to be able to deal with the issues that they have to bring about more inclusion. And what I often say is the small things make a big difference. When we were developing Morgan's Wonderland, we weren't reinventing a carousel. We were making small adjustments to it to make it feasible for everybody. When we're working on the hotel, we're not making major adjustments to the room. When you walk into the room, it's going to look like any other hotel room. But there'll be small little changes and things available to you that are going to make it ultra accommodating. So we don't have to get crazy about this. We simply just have to focus on it and be curious about it. And that's really what I often talk about, is we're curious about how we can make things different and how we can make things better for everybody to be able to enjoy an opportunity that otherwise, if we don't give some focus to it, they've missed out on an opportunity that many of us take for granted. And that's what we're trying to work on in respect to us being able to become more involved in bringing about a more inclusive world.
I think that leads me on to something I was going to ask you as well about how do you create that innovative environment more widely? So I know you work with partners, sort of academics, sponsors, kind of manufacturers, and your team as well. How do you create that innovative environment and that curiosity?
Well, first of all, I think it comes with passion. I think anyone who is going to be able to deal in the area that we deal with and bringing about innovative new thoughts to something has to have a passion about what they do. And I think that's where it starts, to be honest with you. And I think that if you have a passion for something and you have a real desire to make a true difference, you can make a true difference. Whether you're someone who just has an idea and says, hey, I know this has got an opportunity, pursue it, make it happen. And we bring in a lot of professionals, but most of what we learn is from grassroots of people who have great ideas about how to make the world better when it comes to making a more inclusive world. So it's not about all the consultants and the professionals and all that. It's about anybody who has a passion to want to make a difference. And that's really what brings about innovation. I have a passion for what I do, and I'm very blessed that I have a daughter who has special needs that's opened my eyes to the needs of the things that we've been talking about today. But that passion is what leads me to go out and try to find other people who have those same types of desires to want to make a difference as well, to truly make a difference. And that's what it's all about. So anybody can do it. Anybody can make it happen. It's just a matter of determining that, number one, when you run into that brick wall, know that there's someone that's going to be smart enough and strong enough and passionate enough that's going to be willing to throw you that rope to climb over that wall to be able to make a difference. They're out there. I watched it for so many years. You know, I was in the business world for 22 years before I sold all my companies, got involved in the work that I do today. And I will tell you that that was by far the best thing that ever happened to me, because it's opened up an opportunity to become innovative. And with innovative opportunities comes about more fulfillment. And so the last 20 years of my life and the work that I've done in bringing it about, working with so many different people and new innovative way to bring about more inclusion, has truly been the most fulfilling time of my entire life.
Gordon, that's absolutely wonderful. I think that's a really lovely place to leave it. So thank you very much for that. I'm just going to say, for anybody watching, we're going to stay tuned and we're going to announce the winners of our inclusion category after this. But Gordon, thank you ever so much for your time. Really inspiring work, and thank you for doing it as well. And thanks to everyone at Morgan's leading the way.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Again, I welcome people to go to morgans.org. That's Morgans with an S.org, morgans.org, to learn about what we have done, what we're currently doing, and what we plan to do in the future. There's many more things that we didn't even talk about today through innovation and creative ways that we're going to make the world a more inclusive world. So thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity.
That's wonderful. Thank you. We'll put some links down below to everything. Yeah, and hope to talk to you again when you're next doing some more things. It'll be wonderful. Thank you very much, Gordon.
I look forward to it. Thank you. Take care.
And now, the winners of the 2024 Blue Loop Innovation Awards Inclusion category. Third place, the Accessible Interactive Hockey from 501 Fun. Second place, Access for All Inclusion app from A4A Designs. First place, the world's first standing wave lift system from Aquatic Development Group. Congratulations to all of the winners.